Welcome back to Giggles and Glutes. I'm Zoe, and with me, as always, is my amazing co-host and bestie, Donaé.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Today, we're diving into a topic that's commonly misunderstood: training during pregnancy. There's a lot of fear around it, but we're here to clear things up with some facts and science, as always, and help you make informed decisions when training during pregnancy.
There is a lot of confusion around it, and there's always the big question is, can I train while pregnant? The answer is absolutely yes, 100% you can. There's obviously a lot of things that you need to consider because there's a lot of changes happening within your body, and you know this firsthand because you trained throughout your pregnancy, which you can tell us about in a little bit. But the first thing that I would say for people to be mindful of is to get clearance from your doctor. This is the most important thing, and it's probably the only reason why a lot of people won't train during pregnancy is if their doctor declares them medically unfit to train. That's the only reason why. But other than that, there really isn't any other reason for them not to train. Just to add to that, if you are somebody that has been training for a long time, you can continue your training as normal up until almost the day you give birth if your body allows. If you are somebody who hasn't been training and you're stepping into the gym to now lose weight while pregnant, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you are going to gain weight during your pregnancy. So it's not a time for you to be setting like fitness goals and being like, I want to drop 10 kg because you 100% are going to put on weight.
The amount of exercise minutes at the American College of Obstetricians, sorry. They recommend the same amount of exercise for a healthy and pregnant female as with a healthy and pregnant woman. There is no difference in how you train when you are pregnant or when you are not pregnant. Now, obviously, different rules apply if you're in a different level of fitness, because I also recently studied pre and postnatal because I felt like there wasn't enough information in one place. If you wanted information, you had to source it from different things, but there wasn't a one-stop shop and enough people talking about this topic. So I'm happy to be talking about it. It's something very personal to me. It's the reason why I was like, oh my gosh, there's a huge gap in the market for personal trainers that are actually qualified to train with healthy pregnant women. And when we say healthy, we mean that you don't have any complications or the doctor has advised that it's safe for you to exercise. Making sure that you're getting your 150 minutes a week of moderate exercise is perfectly fine, and you can do that up until you feel you can no longer do that. The last 2 months, I would definitely regress because that's when the baby's at the lowest, I would say, or getting ready to disembark.
And it basically just comes down to the fact that you are so uncomfortable. Your body literally just feels like it cannot because you're at its maximum load. The baby has grown to full term and it's time for your body to birth this child now. So that's basically all it comes down to. And whether you are a CrossFitter, I've seen pregnant women continue CrossFit even up until a certain point where they are still comfortable. I've seen people run marathons and races even up until again they are comfortable, and then just the normal person going to the gym and training throughout their pregnancy again up until they are comfortable. So it comes down to you as a person and what you can handle and what your medical condition. A lot of people deal with preeclampsia, which is high blood pressure or induced diabetes during their pregnancy, and the Braxton Hicks, which is like mock contractions, that also happens different times during your pregnancy. So it just depends from person to person. But there are guidelines that I think a lot of people do need to know when training with pregnant, because even though there are people that are still training, I've seen people do some crazy things. And coming from the background of studying pre and post, yes, this is exactly what I was going to talk about, was abs. People are out here doing sit-ups and crunches, and I'm like, what are you doing? If you don't mind, I'm just going to take you through something that will hopefully open your mind to it so you understand why you don't want to do this. Getting into a bit of the science, a lot of people don't know this, but your abdominal muscles separate during pregnancy to create room for the baby. As the baby grows, there's a dark line that appears in the middle of your stomach. And this is called, or science fact, the linea nigra is what it's called, which is, but are you sure you want to call it that? But okay. So this line is basically an indication that your abdominal muscles have separated. And in this process, all your organs are being moved to different places in your body to create room for the human that you are growing, the bun in the oven. And so what happens when this muscle separates is that the muscle fibers separate as well. So if I can give you an example, this is your stomach, right? This is your linea nigra, your abdominal muscle, and literally opening like this. So now you do a sit-up, like
Actually, a perfect visual for us, Donaé.
you not only are you crushing the baby, which is the least of your concern because the baby is very, very protected in there. What you are doing to your muscle fibers actually is what is the problem. Once you've given birth, naturally, they will rejoin again and everything will go back to hopefully its original place. But even in this process, when you postpartum, the doctors usually give you 6 weeks before you can resume normal training to prevent tears. In that 6 weeks, the muscle fibers are rejoining, which is this zip. This is actually such a good example. When we want this to go back to place like this, a lot of women actually go straight back into doing heavy core exercises because they are so concerned about this belly fat that they have now developed after giving birth, having the baby, and their skin has grown so much and all of these things. But if you don't give your body enough time for the muscle fibers to rejoin, everything inside is going to bulge out. And this is what you are left with after your pregnancies because now everything inside this bag is your stomach. Sorry, not this bag, your stomach is bulging out and the muscle fibers basically rejoin, stays out, and you're basically left with that for life. So to keep in mind is these measures are not put into place just because it's literally there to help you so that you can allow your body to do what it needs to do. This requires patience because I think that people get frustrated. Your body changes so much and you're like in your head about how you used to look and all of these things. So just be mindful of that.
Yes, a lot of people say, I don't want to go because I have so much back pain today or I don't want to exercise. And those are all valid reasons. And if you feel that you can't, please also understand that that is also okay. Take it easy on yourself during this time, especially in the first 3 months. So hard, you're so nauseous, or if you're like me, puking all the time. Some days you just can't. I remember doing Pilates with, I'd be like, Anthea, I have to get up. And I would run to puke in the bathroom and come back. In the middle of my workout, I was feeling nauseous. And I can totally understand if you don't want to be putting yourself through that. So also to just take some time and to be aware of what's happening inside your body. Like, how am I feeling? Am I fatigued? Can I go for maybe just a 10-minute walk? Because that is still better than doing nothing. And walks and low intensity exercises are going to help with the fatigue. It's going to help with any swelling that you have. It's going to help with the back pain if you are experiencing any of those symptoms.
Listening to you say that, I'm just like, the female body is incredible, honestly. And I don't think that women actually, we don't give ourselves enough credit for what our body does. And I'm not taking away from men. Your body is amazing too, but this is not about you right now. The female body is something so beautiful and so amazing. And I think it is very important to be very kind to yourself during this time and be mindful of the changes within your body. You are growing a human. And even in that sense, there's a lot of things to focus on, like during pregnancy. For example, strengthening your pelvic floor muscles, preparing your body for the actual birthing process. To be strong enough to push. The importance of Kegels. For those of you who don't know what Kegels are, if you think about when you need to go to the bathroom to make a wee, and you basically stop yourself from going to wee, like you pinch because you just need to keep it for 5 more minutes. And then when you release, so that's basically a Kegel exercise, which is something that you can do throughout your pregnancy. And the amazing thing about this is that you can do it anywhere, literally while you're cooking, while you're driving. And this is a good way to internally strengthen those pelvic floor muscles.
I wouldn't recommend it in the late part of pregnancy because that's when you want the pelvis to start relaxing so that the canal isn't as stiff and tight. It's easier for baby to exit.
Yeah. Even with doing these exercises, you're creating a mind to muscle connection. When the nurse or doctor tells you to relax, you actually can, because you've gained control of this muscle, which is basically what teams do for you. So definitely at the top of the list is that as well. If you have been training, modification is something that people overlook a lot. Modify your exercise. It's not a sign of weakness. A push-up, for example, I hate when people call the modified push-up a female push-up, because it's not easier in the sense that it's so easy, because there are still people who cannot even execute the modified. It's modified. It's not taking away from your strength or what you are able to do. Modify your exercises. Don't punish yourself because my squat is not as deep, or I can't lunge as deep. Make room, literally, for your stomach that's growing. Modification is going to have to happen, whether you like it or not. Just be mindful of that as well.
During pregnancy, we are prone to getting gestational diabetes. Exercising helps lower the risk of getting this. It's not just about the strength benefit that are going to come with it. It's also about the health benefit that come with it. Like, it helps calm your mind, and pregnancy is a really stressful time on the mind, because you're like, should I eat this? Should I not eat this? Should I go here? It's really stressful, actually, trying to make sure that you are being healthy and looking after yourself as best as you possibly can to make sure that your baby is in the best possible shape afterward. It's also the added benefit of giving you calm, you know?
Yeah, this actually ties in well with your diet, because it's very difficult, I can only imagine, to control all your cravings, and all your hormones have changed so much, your appetite has changed so much, your body has changed so much, and I think it's very difficult to stay disciplined in terms of food and what you consume.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to practice, to be mindful of, is what you are eating, because like you don't want to end up having the gestational diabetes, which obviously like your food as well. So healthy choices, because at the end of the day, you also have to think about postpartum. Like, what you're going to give birth to this child you've gained, for example, 12 kgs, which is like the blanket amount of weight that people are supposed to gain, taking into consideration
30 kilos.
30 kg.
Wow.
They give a blanket statement. When I was studying, they said 12 kgs, taking into consideration the baby, the amniotic fluid, the placenta, blah, blah, blah. All of these things obviously has weight to it. And now your eating habits, water retention on top of that. So 12 kgs is really a bullshit, if you ask me. Excuse my French. Because there's so much more, and babies don't all weigh the same. You could give birth to a 5 kg child or 0.5 kg child even, you know? So postpartum, if you think about it, once you've given birth to the baby, the placenta and the amniotic fluid and all of that, your water retention slowly goes down. You left obviously with this weight that now you need to also focus on. Not that you need to, but a lot of women obviously want to. And I think it's important to get out of the mentality of I have to bounce back. I have to get back to where I was as soon as possible. That even alone is a time where you need to be even more kind to yourself, where you need to speak to yourself with so much love because of what you just went through for 10 months, which, like, random fact, pregnancy is not 9 months or 10 months because you give birth at the end of your 9 months, not the beginning. So the 10 months that you are actually like went through and all of these changes, and then slowly get back into your training again. Take the time off, slowly reintroduce yourself, to ask yourself questions like, how am I feeling? Strength-wise, mentally, emotionally, where am I at? What can I do? But also just trying to improve daily where you obviously can, so that your bounce back is not a bounce back, it's a journey, not a race.
I think that every pregnancy is different, firstly. Because of that, every recovery is different. How long you take and need to feel ready again to resume normal exercise or normal daily tasks is going to be different compared to what it was for me. And I'm just talking about what you were saying now about to be kind to yourself, especially in this time, because I struggled. I proper struggled. I was staring at my body once this baby was no longer inside, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't believe that this is what my body looked like. I constantly had to remind myself that you had a baby, because it was difficult. The time I went into hospital was 99 kilo. I was unable to walk. My feet were killing me. Arches collapsed. I was at my wits. And then I still had a traumatic birth. birth with Ella and everything that happened. But I was very lucky to have a lot of help and support afterwards. And in Germany, you get like a midwife that comes to visit you afterwards every day. So she'll come, she'll wash the baby, check up on you, check how far your abs are apart, and then she would give me tummy rubs, she would give me like massages. It was absolutely amazing. I do think that if you can afford to get the help, then get help, because that allows you to rest and recover after your pregnancy. It's so important that you rest afterward. I was just lying down. I think it was 2 weeks where I was just laying down, got up to go to the toilet and came back, laid, and I healed so quickly because of that.
It's not just about your body bouncing back, but it's also getting back to your usual routine. Rest is extremely important for your body so that everything can return to homeostasis. Like it needs to get back. If anything needs to bounce back, it's your organs and your muscle fibers and everything inside your body, and that requires rest. That's insane. Like the entire process that you went through. It's so beautiful. I'm already like looking at all these babies and I'm like, my ovaries are going nuts. And now you're talking about your birthing process and I'm like, no, just wait.
I think, as crazy as it was, I think that every woman should experience it.
Should do it. I'm honestly excited for it.
It's something that changes you in a good way, mentally as well, because on that day when you pushing that baby out, it's you versus you for real. You have to go
showing up for yourself.
Yes. And that changes you. I can't explain it.
This is the thing also. It's like a lot of people speak about all their experiences, and like people actually freak people out because they like share their experience, and if it was a bad experience, you latch onto that. If it was a good experience, you latch onto that. And so like you get into your head about it. Also something important to remember is that, like you said, every pregnancy is unique. Make room for you to experience your own journey in that and be able to appreciate the highs and the lows and just take everything in about this beautiful experience. And then as a tip for training while pregnant is to stay hydrated and to listen to your body and maintain your strength where you can. It's good to move during this time. Like we celebrate our body through movement, which is beautiful. Even if you are losing strength, like it's okay. Do what you can, listen to your body and be patient with yourself and drink your water. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Heart health. Yes. And nothing has to change really that's like drastic, but just being mindful of all the changes that is happening in your body and mentally as well. And just on the benefits of this, I was saying to Delia at the gym the other day, I was like, she was asking me where Ella was and stuff, and I was like, oh, she's home. And then I said to her that I really think that training throughout my pregnancy impacted Ella in the way that she is. She's so active, and she started crawling when she was 5 months and started walking at 10 months. And at the gym, she's trying to climb up the jungle gym and stuff. This girl always wanting to explore and experience stuff. And when I'm exercising in front of her, she's always staring at me. Sometimes I'll take her and I'll do a couple of squats with her on my arms, and she giggles. Exercise in front of your children, especially your girl children. We want to make sure that all of our listeners are competent in the gym and that they are an example for other people in their lives, because that's how we get more people to live happy and healthier lives. We must all continue to be examples to one another and motivational and encourage each other. And the best way that kids learn how to do things is by watching or modeling their parents. If you live a healthy lifestyle, automatically your kids are going to see that this is a good way of living. Or maybe in the beginning they might not understand it, but later in life they're surely going to be thankful for encouraging them to also live happy and healthy lifestyles. And I think like people who don't really grow up
in a household where everyone's really into exercise or fitness or sports, that's where it goes wayward. So if you want to encourage our kids from young, let exercise in front of them, include them in your gym activities, take them with to the gym. I know all gyms don't offer the facility, but if the gym does, take them with.
Or even if you don't have a gym membership or you don't belong to a gym, you can run, go with a bike, go for walks, like be active and do things with your kids, because it's not only a great example that you are setting for them, but it's also a good time to bond as a family and to do
100%.
things.
Yeah.
It's like a team building, but with your family.
Yeah.
Like you get to know each other better. It's like constant challenges and overcome motivating each other, holding each other accountable, which I think is also so great.
Lastly, please go and see a pelvic floor therapist after. Even if everything was fine and everything is healthy down there, go have it checked out, just like you would go and have anything else checked out. Have the pelvic floor therapist check you out, just so that you know on what basis you are working with, because building back your pelvis after pregnancy is just as important as trying to get it strong for the birth, because afterward you are going to feel at your weakest you have ever felt in your entire life. Your hips are going to feel tired and lazy. Your knees are going to hurt for a little bit because of the trauma that you've experienced during the birth. Your body is so weak afterward. I was doing push-ups during my pregnancy and I can barely do 2 push-ups now, like full body push-ups, and that was my bread and butter. So it doesn't just affect your pelvis. The birth affects your entire body. You give so much on that day. So do for yourself as much as you can to heal as best as you can, I would say.
Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, thank you for that. And that concludes us. Thank you so much for joining us in today's episode. We hope that you were able to learn something and maybe understand something that you were confused about during this time. And if you are a pregnant listener who tuned in today, please just take the time to get to know your body, be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, speak to yourself with love. And we hope that you learned something from today's episode.
Yes. And if you feel that you need to stop during your exercise, something is too intense or stuff, listen to your body. Listen to your body. That's what we want to leave you with today.
Period. Thank you for tuning in. It was amazing to have you guys here. We will see you next time. Same time, same place.
Bye.
Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.